greetings, greetings, greetings. If you'll please take your seats, we're about ready to get started.
On April 7th, 1957, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Gave a speech entitled Birth of a New Nation while he was speaking at the Dexter Avenue Missionary Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama. What I'm about to read to you now will be an excerpt from that speech. The aftermath of nonviolence is the creation of the beloved community. The aftermath of nonviolence is redemption. The aftermath of nonviolence is reconciliation. The aftermath of violence is emptiness and bitterness. This is the thing I'm concerned about. Let us fight passionately and unrelentingly for the goals of justice and peace. But let's be sure that our hands are clean in this struggle. Let us never fight with falsehood and violence and hate and of malice, but always fight with love. So that when that day comes that the walls of segregation have completely crumbled in Montgomery, we will be able to live with these people as their brothers and sisters. Oh, my friends, our aims must not to defeat Mr. Englehart, not to defeat Mr. Sellers and Mr. Gale and Mr. Parks. Our aim must be to defeat the evil that's in them. Our aim must be to win the friendship of Mr. Gale and Mr. Sellers and Mr. Englehart and Mr. Parks. We must come to the point of seeing that our ultimate aim is to live with them all as men, as brothers and sisters under God, and not be their enemies or anything that goes with that type of relationship. I'm coming to the conclusion now. Ghana reminds us that freedom never comes on a silver platter. It's never easy. Ghana reminds us that whenever you break out of Egypt, you better get ready for some stiff backs. You better get ready for some homes to be bombed. You better get ready for some churches to be bombed. You better get ready for a lot of nasty things to be said about you. But because you're getting out of Egypt, and whenever you break loose from Egypt, the initial response of the Egyptian is bitterness. It never comes with ease. It comes only through the hardness and persistence of life. Freedom never comes easy. It comes through hard labor, and it comes through toil. It comes through hours of despair and disappointment. And that's the way it goes. There is no crown without a cross. I wish we could get to Easter without Good Friday. But history tells us that there has to be a Good Friday before we can get to Easter. That's the long story of freedom, isn't it? Before you get to Canaan, you've got a Red Sea to confront. You have a hardened heart of a Pharaoh to confront. You have the prodigious hilltops of evil in the wilderness to confront. And even when you get to the promised land, you have giants in the land. The beautiful thing is that there have been a few people that have already been there. They have spied enough to say, even though giants are there, we can possess this land because we have the internal fiber to stand up amidst anything that we face. The road to freedom is a difficult, hard road, but something else came to mind. God comes in the picture, even when the church won't take a stand. God has injected a principle in this universe. God has said that all men must respect the dignity and worth of all human personality. And if you don't do that, I will take charge. It seems that this morning I can hear God speaking. I can hear him speaking through the universe and saying, be still and know that I am God. And if you don't stop, if you don't straighten up, if you don't stop exploiting people, I'm going to rise up and break the backbone of your power, and your power will be no more. And I say to you this morning, my friends, rise up and know that you struggle for justice, but you do not struggle alone. But God struggles with you, and he's working every day. Somehow I can look out, I can look across the seas and across the universe and cry out, mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. And then I can think about it because his truth is marching on. And I can sing another chorus, hallelujah, glory, hallelujah, his truth is marching on. Then I can hear Isaiah say again, because it has a profound meaning to me, that somehow every valley shall be exalted, every hill shall be made low, every crooked place shall be made straight, and the rough places shall be made plain. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. That's the beauty of this thing. All flesh shall see it together. Not some from the heights of Park Street and others from the dungeons of the slums. Not some from the pinnacles of the British Empire and some from the dark deserts of Africa. Not some from inordinate, superfluous wealth and others from abject, deadening poverty. Not some white and not some black. Not some yellow and not some brown. But all flesh shall see it together. That shall see it from Montgomery. They shall see it from New York. They shall see it from Ghana. They shall see it from China. For I can look out and see a great number, as John saw, marching into the great eternity. Because God is working in this world. And at this hour and at this moment, and God grants that we will get on board and start marching. Because we got orders now to break down the bondage and the walls of colonialism, exploitation, imperialism, to break them down to the point that no man will trample over another man, but that all men will respect the dignity and the worth of all human personality. And then we will be in Canaan's freedom land. Moses might not get to see Canaan, but his children will see it. He even got to the mountain not enough to see it, and it was assured that it was coming. But the beauty of this thing is that there was always a Joshua to take up his work and take the children on in. And it's there waiting with its milk and its honey and with all of the bountiful beauty that God has in store for his children. Oh, what exceedingly marvelous things God has in store for us. Granted that we will follow him enough to gain them. Oh God, our gracious God, Heavenly Father, help us to see the insights that come from this new nation. Help us to follow thee in all thy creative works in this world, and that somehow we will discover that we are all made to live together as brothers, and that it will come in this generation, the day when all men will recognize the fatherhood of God and the brotherhood of men. Amen.
Good evening. There we go. A little short person here. Good evening. And a heartfelt welcome to you for attending our 28th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Recommitment Celebration. My name is Tanya Cook, and I am honored to stand before you as the Vice President of the Northwest Arkansas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Council. Our evening has truly been ignited with passion, thanks to Mr. Raymond House and his stirring interpretation of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s timeless sermon, The Birth of a New Nation, which truly has echoed in our hearts tonight. Let's give Mr. Raymond House another warm welcome. Mr. House brought Dr. King's vision to life, emphasizing nonviolent resistance, equality, justice, community building, and inclusive brotherhood. Mr. House is a versatile artist, vibrant drama director for the historical St. James Missionary Baptist Church, and he has been dedicated as a professional with Tyson Foods for over 14 years. This year's theme, Harmony in Hues, Embracing the Beloved Community, aligns seamlessly with the Council's mission, statement, their purpose, and core values. We passionately promote awareness, education, and unity within the community. Our collective commitment is to continue to advance and honor Dr. King's dream, life, and legacy. So your presence this evening is the heartbeat of our mission. Thank you again for being here and lending your energy to this celebration. Your participation enriches the tapestry of tonight's event, and we're profoundly grateful. Now, it's my honor to introduce Cephas Richard III, a cherished council member on the social media committee. Cephas, please join us as we continue to weave the threads of this memorable evening together. Again, welcome. And thank you for being an integral part of the 28th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Recommitment Celebration.
Thank you. I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Quincy Spencer as the Director of New Student and Family Programs at the University of Arkansas. In this role, he oversees support programs for students and their families throughout their undergraduate career, including extended orientation programs, leadership development programs, late-night programming, first-year and transition initiatives, and parent and family programs. Dr. Spencer also serves as a lead team member on the University of Arkansas First Scholars and First Gen 4 programs through NASPA, Student Affairs, Administrators, and Higher Education. Originally from Southwest Louisiana, Dr. Spencer holds a Bachelor's of Arts in Political Science and Master's of Arts in Student Personnel Services from Northwestern State University, as well as a doctorate in higher education from the University of Arkansas. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Dr. Quincy Spencer as he takes the stage for this evening's proceedings.
Well, good evening. We're going to try that one more time. Good evening. Good evening. All right. Thank you for joining us at the 28th Annual Recommitment Celebration. As we gather today, I'm reminded of the timeless words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., "The time is always right to do what is right." It's a privilege to stand before you as the MC for this extraordinary event hosted by the Northwest Arkansas MLK Council. We're here not to just celebrate, but to honor outstanding community leaders and scholarship recipients who embody the spirit of Dr. King's dream. A heartfelt welcome to those of you joining us for the first time. This gathering stands as a beacon for unity, equality, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. We are excited to welcome our esteemed featured speaker, Nikole Hannah Jones, for the beloved community fireside chat. Tonight goes beyond awards. It's a celebration of greatness and a salute to those inspiring positive change. We will also recognize 35 high school and college scholarship recipients, a testament to our collective commitment to empowering the next generation. Your presence, alongside our sponsors, enables us to contribute $35,000 in scholarships to these students. As our esteemed guests, we invite you to contribute to our scholarship fund in two convenient ways: Cash App or through a QR code provided. Throughout the celebration, we'll guide you on how to make your contribution. Contributions will help us fuel the dreams of these students and as they represent our community. On behalf of the council, I extend our deepest gratitude for your support. Tonight is just not an event. It's a journey through celebration, recognition, and love. To guide us in a moment of reflection, we are honored to have Minister Monique Jones, who serves as the Outreach Director at the historical St. James Baptist Church, who will offer a spiritual reflection. She'll be followed by Mrs. Miranda Seawood, who will lead us in singing the Negro National Anthem. Let this evening inspire us all to recommit ourselves to the values of unity, justice, and love that Dr. King passionately championed. Thank you for being a part of this celebration, and we're ready to get started.
If everyone would bow with me, please. Dear Lord, we gather here today for 28 years of a commitment drawn by the echoes of a dream unfulfilled, yet ever burning, a dream whispered by a prophet in a robe of hope, a dream sung by voices rising from fields of despair, a dream etched in stone on the mountains of justice. On this day, we remember Martin Luther King Jr., your servant who dared to believe in the impossible. We hold before you his unflinching courage, his unwavering faith, his boundless love that defied the mountains of prejudice and hatred. But, oh Lord, we confessed our shortcomings. We who inherit the mantle of his struggle still stumble on the stones of indifference. We who sing of equality still harbor whispers of fear and distrust. We who seek the promised land still falter in the face of daily injustices. Forgive our transgressions, Lord. Forgive our complacency, Lord, our silence, Lord, our timidity in the face of wrongs that cry out of redress. Rekindle us in the flames of commitment. Ignite our hearts with the fire of compassion. Guide our steps with the compass of courage, and fill our mouths with the words of truth and love. Empower us today, O Lord, young and old, to build bridges where walls divide. Grant us the strength to dismantle the strongholds of discrimination, the weapons of ignorance, and the chains of oppression. Help us to see your image in every face, to hear your voice in every language, and to find your grace in every soul. Let our recommitment to the dream be not a mere ceremony, but a burning conviction. Let it fuel our deeds of justice, empower our love, and guide us toward a future where all children of God, regardless of color of creed, can truly walk in hand, children of one light, one love, one world. In Jesus Christ's name, amen.
Minister Jones and Mrs. Seawood, your inspirational reflections, coupled with the moving rendition of Lift Every Voice and Sing, have set a powerful tone for this evening. Up next, we have our esteemed leaders who will share their greetings in the following order. Ms. Cyree Diaz, a junior at Fayetteville High School, serves as president of the MLK Dreamkeepers. She's involved in various organizations, a member of the Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated Rotary Club, AVID, Mock Trial, and the lacrosse team. Cyree is a past dancer and basketball player at Ramey Junior High School and Fayetteville High School. In her commitment to community service, she volunteers at Juneteenth, engages in liturgical dance at St. James, and contributes to the St. James drama team. Beyond her activities, Cyree finds joy in spending time and playing games with her grandpa. She is the daughter of Jonelle Colbert Diaz and Omar Diaz, the granddaughter of Dr. John L. Colbert, the niece of Janessa Colbert, and the sister of Diana Diaz and Serena Colbert Diaz. She will be followed by Mayor Lionel Jordan of Fayetteville, a visionary leader of Fayetteville, Arkansas, who tirelessly works to enhance our community's quality of life, promoting principles of equality, diversity, and inclusion. His enduring commitment to public service has left an everlasting mark on our beloved city and the Northwest Arkansas area. And finally, Dr. Charles F. Robinson, who serves as the 7th Chancellor of the University of Arkansas. He is a transformative leader, and under his guidance, the University of Arkansas has achieved remarkable milestones in graduation rates, scholarship funding, enrollment, and research. And he's the first Black Chancellor of the University of Arkansas, just to add that there. So tonight, as we gather in unity, let us collectively celebrate greatness and honor the values that Dr. King passionately championed.
Good evening. I am Cyree Diaz, president of the Northwest Arkansas MLK Dreamkeepers, and I bring you greetings on behalf of the members of Dreamkeepers. We are elated to have this opportunity to join you in celebrating the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. during this 28th MLK Recommitment Celebration. My fellow Dreamkeepers and I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to the Northwest Arkansas MLK Council, our advisor, Dr. John L. Colbert, core advisor, Ms. Teresa Stevenson, and activities assistant, Ms. Renelda Augustine Robinson, for your continuous support of the Dreamkeepers. And to each of you, I say thank you for your support of this program, by your attendance, as well as your financial support, because you assist youth like myself in furthering our education. In closing, please note that the Northwest Arkansas MLK Dreamkeepers joined the Northwest Arkansas MLK Council for this 28th Annual Recommitment Celebration by honoring the theme, Harmonies and Hues, Embracing the Beloved Community. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. All right, what a great day. My goodness. Well, let me get started here. I find my speech here. All right. Well, as you know, I'm Mayor Lionel Jordan, and I'm honored to be here today at the Martin Luther King Jr. Recommitment Celebration. Thank you all for your commitment to living out the dream that Dr. King so beautifully expressed. Thank you to the Northwest Arkansas Martin Luther King Jr. Council for all the work that they do to bring us together. That's what it's about in this day and time, bringing us all together. And I've always been touched by the work of Dr. King, and I love that so many of us are celebrating his life through our recommitment to his words and actions that inspire and commit to inspired and continue to inspire the world. Let us reflect upon the great legacy of the past, live life to its fullest, and do the right thing and act upon the promise of the future. You can fulfill your dreams. We can fulfill Dr. King's dreams together. Yes, thank you. Yes. You know something, folks? Dr. King, I'm getting off script here. Dr. King said Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Right? Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. When we're looking at what we're seeing going on in the world today, we've got to see the light of love in every human being. And we have got to be together. All right, and I have a proclamation. Whereas once every year, America sets aside one day to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a pioneer and leader of the civil rights movement who devoted his life to advancing equality, social justice, and opportunity. I don't know about you, my line of work, it's a little scary. Anyway. Well, it sounded so good, let's start again. That could only happen to me, you know. Whereas once every year, America sets aside one day to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a pioneer and leader of the civil rights movement, who devoted his life to advancing equality, social justice, and opportunity for all. And whereas Dr. King was a visionary leader dedicated to the principle of nonviolence, and his was a powerful voice for social change in America. And whereas a driving force behind such watershed events as the Montgomery bus boycott and the March on Washington, Dr. King's eloquence, leadership, and insistence on nonviolent resistance managed to bridge the chasm of indifference, hostility, and prejudice and touch the conscience of America, leading our nation to such landmark legislation as the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And whereas today we celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. King, we honor his memory and the memory of those who fought the battle for change. And we take up the standard that he carried, reaffirming our dedication to upholding his call to be saved from that patience that makes us patient with anything less than freedom and justice. Now, therefore, I, Lionel Jordan, Mayor of the great city of Fayetteville, Arkansas, do hereby proclaim January the 13th, 2024 as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Recommitment Celebration Day in Fayetteville, Arkansas. This is for us. Yes. Thank you all.
Good evening, everyone. When I was a boy, I loved Dr. King's words. I remember having videotapes of Dr. King, and I would analyze his words. I mean, I would break them down. I thought, man, this guy was the best speaker I'd ever heard. And he used such great analogy, and he loved to mix history, you know, with the lessons that he wanted people to learn. But now that I've become a man and I've aged gracefully, I still like his words, but what I admire more than his words was his perseverance. You know, you can only imagine how hard it was for him to keep doing what he was doing, because he was leading a movement that was not a monolithic movement. He was leading people who didn't agree with the strategies that he used. Oh, he was told by their community that he was moving too fast, and then there were others who told him that he was moving too slow. And the truth hurts, but not all African Americans thought he was doing the right thing. Oh yeah, that's true. And he had to endure that day after day. And I suspect that there were times when he thought to himself, I could just stop and go home. There were threats against his life, but he kept going. And I thought to myself, what motivated him to keep going? It's pretty simple. He had convictions that motivated him to go despite the challenges that were ever more present for him. He was convicted to doing the work and achieving equal opportunity. I'm sure he looked at his children and said, this has to change. I'm sure he looked at other people's children and said, this has to change. I could stop, go home, have a regular life, have pastor my church, but I'm not going to do that because the cause for which I'm working is greater than the discomfort that I'm experiencing. Now, I say that because there's a lesson in that for all of us. Convictions and causes matter. And at the University of Arkansas, I feel very fortunate that I'm the chancellor of a land-grant institution. Because if you know anything about the land grant's purpose is to help those who cannot help themselves. That's the purpose of the land grant. The land grant was created to advance education and to advance opportunity, but not just for those who had resources, but for those who didn't have it. And so when I think about my personal convictions about trying to do something that's positive and to help people, which is something that I go to bed at night thinking about and wake up in the next morning thinking about and think about all day long. And I think that I'm at a land grant, I think that is a perfect symmetry, because now I can use this position to do the work that Dr. King was doing, creating equal opportunity, more of it than has ever existed in the history of that campus. And that is a goal of mine as chancellor. And I don't know how long I'll be chancellor, but as long as I am chancellor, that's going to be one of the goals. And not just one of the goals, but the most important goal that I have. And you're going to see the University of Arkansas working like never before to make equal opportunity more than just rhetoric, but to make it, to turn it and transform it into resources. Students cannot be expected, when they are poor, to work 35 and 40 hours a week and achieve like those who don't have to work at all. Students who want to learn more but can't do it because they have a clock that they need to punch. And they are working hard because that's the only way that they can pursue their dreams of becoming something else. I admire their tenacity and their persistence, but it's up to us to do something to support them better so that their outcomes can be the same outcomes of the students who have more resources. And I can assure you, I'm not looking for applause. I'm just speaking from my heart here. I can assure you that we're going to do everything we can to grow resources, that we drive to those students who don't have them. We're going to do everything we can to make sure that those students can have opportunities for study abroad. Those students can get involved in the Volunteer Action Center so that they can benefit from the networking that comes from volunteer work. We're going to make sure those students can, when they leave the University of Arkansas, can say, this is my campus. I'm part of the Razorback family, and that campus made it possible for me to go on and do the great things that I'm going to do. That is my commitment, my recommitment on this Dr. King Day. We're going to become a better University of Arkansas, supporting those who need it and better ensuring that they have the opportunity to go on and help others. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Versed as we are, it makes you feel like you do belong.
My name is Danielle Woods. I'm the club manager of Club 8294 in Nashville, Tennessee.
No.
This is a very diverse, culturally based club.
As diverse as we are, it makes you feel like you do belong.
My name is Danielle Woods. I'm the club manager of Club 8294 in Nashville, Tennessee. This is a very diverse, culturally based club. So for me, it's trying to figure out how I can adapt and ultimately bring the club together as a whole. I think I was maybe a week in. I kept seeing people go by the office, and that's where I saw that there was a rug and a couple of chairs. I asked, what are they doing down there? And they told me that's where they go pray throughout the day. We thought it was a great idea just to give them a space. I have extra offices upstairs, and this way it can be private.
The multi-faith room, it's a really, really unique thing. It's appreciation. They do care.
You can check on them up in different countries.
They can see where we belong. So you're gonna see a lot of cultures over there.
I have my little translator. I'll keep it in my pocket, and if I have to have a conversation with somebody, I have a conversation with them. Good morning, Sahida.
صباح الخير يا سعيد.
I literally spend every day thinking, no matter what part of the world they're from, how do we collectively work together as a team to come together to take care of the business?
No, she's good. She is good. She helped us a lot.
I love her. I love to work with her.
I belong here.
انت مرحب في الكلاب.
Todos pertenecemos aquí.
At the core of the Council's beliefs inspired by Dr. King is the profound trust in the potential of our youth and their impacts locally, nationally, and globally. Within the NWA MLK Council, we take pride in the NWA MLK Dream Keepers, our youth organization for students ages 12 to 19. Actively involved in community service, they exemplify Dr. King's ideals. To support the Dream Keepers or our scholarship fund, consider making an online donation at nwamlk.org and click on online giving, or use Cash App. Y'all supposed to be taking your phones out right now, like giving us money right now, okay? And so Cash App, you can find us at NWA MLK Council. Your support is greatly appreciated. Our heartfelt thanks goes to our sponsors for their invaluable support. You'll learn more about our sponsors throughout the evening. You saw one of the videos, but we'll have multiple videos playing throughout the ceremony. We now want to recognize our exceptional Salute to Greatness awardees. The presenters for the Salute to Greatness Awards are current and former MLK Council members. Peggy Boyles will be presenting the Nonprofit Corporation of the Year Award. Dr. Angela Mosley-Montz will present the Reverend J. Aaron Hawkins Posthumous Award. Edith Hawkins will present the Rodney Moman Youth Young Adult Award. Scott Verity will present the Ernestine White Gibson Individual Achievement Award. And Dr. Vonice Boone will present the John L. Colbert Lifetime Achievement Award.
Good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we honor an outstanding organization with the Dr. Martin Luther King Council Nonprofit Organization of the Year Award, Arkansas Support Network. Yes. Established in 1988, ASN has become a beacon of compassion in our community, expanding its impact statewide. As a licensed disability service provider, ASN is more than just an organization. It's a transformative force dedicated to the well-being of all of Arkansas. At the core of ASN's mission is a belief in the inherent right of every person, regardless of ability, to live in a loving home and be an active, valued member of a caring community. Their comprehensive support services empower individuals, fostering a sense of belonging and empowerment. Tonight, as we celebrate ASN, let's appreciate the depth of their commitment. Significant time, significant effort, and significant resources invested to create a community where everyone is valued and empowered. In the spirit of Dr. King, let's reflect on the impact we can make when we dedicate ourselves to the well-being and empowerment of our community. Congratulations to the Arkansas Support Network, a true embodiment of the principles we hold dear on this special evening. Please turn your attention to the video.
My name is Dr. Sayard Evans. This particular award is a really meaningful honor for us. We are a large organization. We provide disability services, and we do it in a way that's pretty radical when it comes to the traditional disability service system. We do what we do because we believe this is a pathway towards a more just world and community building and an opportunity to make sure that all people are valued accurately and appropriately, and being recognized by the MLK Council gives us the sense that maybe we're making an impact in the way that we want to make an impact. So it's a very meaningful award for us. Dr. King's legacy is a vast, expansive, and complex one. It's easy for some folks to pull out the pieces that they're most comfortable with. And we work really hard to try to pull out the pieces that are intended to make you uncomfortable. We really try to take that same lens when it comes to disability services. We don't just want to take care of folks. We don't just want to make sure that people with disabilities are given, these kind of charitable resources to exist. We want to make sure that we're empowering people with disabilities to be valued in their full humanity and humanness, and to exist in this mutual relationship and community with us. And I believe that Dr. King would be proud of that. I believe that Dr. King would support that work and be an ally and a champion for that kind of approach to disability services. The service system is laid out in a way where you have Medicaid funding and lots of regulations and professionals with lots of credentialing, like all these people who are supposed to be the experts that really don't know that first-person perspective about what it means to be a person with a disability and rely on service systems. Regardless of what stage of Dr. King's legacy you look at, that was a founding kind of guiding principle in everything that he did, was that you cannot make decisions for marginalized people to lessen their oppression if those marginalized people are not guiding the work that you're doing and the strategies that you're laying out. He would absolutely be here with us. He would be concerned about the rights of people with disabilities. He would be concerned about the Fair Wages campaign that we engaged in last year at ASN to make sure that caregivers and direct support professionals are paid a living wage and honored for the work that they're doing. I have no doubt Dr. King would be present and supportive of that work. The work that we do is about valuing and connecting human beings. It's about building community, and it's about benefiting everyone that exists in community with us. It is not pity work. It's easy to get caught up in kind of the fundraising focus and the grants, foundations, donors, structures. And there's this sense through all of it, this thread of kind of suggestion that this is charity work. This is work that really is focused on people that are less than everybody else. And that is a myth. That is not the case. If you want to do this work well and be successful with that, you have to have the courage to be able to reject that notion and really center people on what it is that you're doing. And for us, that's valuing human beings and building community. We are a messy, chaotic organization, and that is necessary. It's important to us that we exist as an inclusive culture that is welcoming of everyone, and you cannot do that without conflict. You cannot do that without error. You cannot do that without doing it wrong every day. But we're not afraid of the work that never ends. Thank you. This award means a lot to us. We want to be a good disability service provider. We want to be good at what we do, but it's far more important to us to be an organization that's recognized for community building and pushing towards justice. And coming from the council, that is a huge badge of honor for us, and we are so grateful for it.
Accepting the award is Dr. Sayard Evans, CEO of ASN. Please join me one more time in saluting the Organization of the Year, Arkansas Support Network. Our next presenter is Dr. Angela Mosley Montz, past president and event program chair. She will present the Dr. Reverend J. Aaron Hawkins posthumous Salute to Greatness Award. Thank you.
Tonight holds a special significance, a celebration of individual achievements, intertwined with the honor of enduring legacies. The Reverend J. Aaron Hawkins Posthumous Award is a poignant recognition symbolizing honor and remembrance for individuals who profoundly enriched our community. This award pays tribute to those who no longer are with us physically, but who have impacted our community, and their impact continues to go forth. In the spirit of the late Reverend J. Aaron Hawkins, a visionary, a founder of the Northwest Arkansas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Council, we present this award to individuals whose legacies echo the commitment of positive change. Tonight, we honor the remarkable contributions of the late Robert Bob Gibson III. This year's Reverend J. Aaron Hawkins Award recipient. The award will be received by his son, Robert Robbie Gibson IV, who is here with us tonight. Bob was the oldest of 9 siblings. He shouldered responsibilities from a very young age with the family farm and operating a tractor at the age of 9. And this was in Wilson, Arkansas. His intellect and passion for math set him apart from anyone else. He pursued higher education at Arkansas State University, crossing paths with his future wife, the late Ernestine White Gibson. Bob joined the State Police Academy, becoming a state trooper, transferred here to Fayetteville, Arkansas in 1975. He was one of the first African-American state troopers. Please join me as we watch the video and welcome his son and our president and vice president to the stage.
My name is Robert Gibson IV, and I'm accepting the award from my dad, Robert Gibson III. Our family is very, very proud to have my dad be able to get this award. I feel very honored to be able to accept it for him. I feel like with his leadership, just him showing his excellence every day as one of the only African-American state troopers in this area, on a regular basis, he upheld Dr. King's legacy and dream of just everybody being together, just being about community and just taking care of one another. There's a lot of memories that we had of being at the church and having different programs and stuff about Dr. Martin Luther King and all his great works and speeches, but there is a part of there where he talks about little black boys and girls and little white boys and girls. I think my dad held that in really high regard, in the fact of how he would go to the elementary schools and kids of different races would climb on him and they'd be trying to play with his gun, even though they weren't supposed to. He just loved everybody, and he just was a great server of our community. He always just wanted to make sure everybody was loved. He just always did everything with honor. He wanted to take care of his family. He wanted to uplift what he did for work. He was a master of his craft. Has a lot of different names. It's, Corporal Gibson, Trooper Bob. He just was known in the community as just such a great man, and I'm proud to call him my father. First of all, I want to say thank you for picking my dad. I think he's feeling really humble right now, looking down on us, him and my mother both. It's just a great honor. I think he's very proud. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give another round of applause for the Gibson family for graciously sharing this inspiring legacy of Robert Gibson III. Their presence tonight enriches us with our commemoration of service and community impact. Now we eagerly anticipate the insights of our next Salute to Greatness presenter, Sister Edith Hawkins, a distinguished former member of the Northwest Arkansas MLK Council. So stay tuned as we continue to celebrate greatness in our community. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm going to raise this a little bit. I'm a little tall, so I want you to be sure to hear. It is my pleasure and proudful moment as the oldest living founder of this great organization to present to you the youngest recipient of this particular award to this date. And that is the Rodney Mormon Youth Young Adult Award, recognizing young adults who exemplify strong character, leadership, service. I'll get it together in just a minute. My page is stuck. To the service to the community. Jessica Deanna Bowser, born April the 27th, 2013, embodies the essence of this award. She is the daughter of Thomas and Price Bowers. They are supportive, they are monitors, they are supervising, they are assisting her in her aspirations. This is something that Jessica dearly loves. She loves to give service. From an early age, Jessica displayed a giving heart, ensuring classmates could enjoy popcorn day in kindergarten, even if they couldn't afford it. Since 2019, Jessica has participated in pageantries, placed in top 5 nationally for 2 consecutive years, actively promoting positive pageantry and engaging in community service. It's kind of in her bones, ladies and gentlemen. Under her platform, Be That Girl, Jessica encourages girls, students of all ages and genders to serve their community, exhibit kindness, and shine in everything they do. She has organized cereal drives, donating over 17,000 items to food pantry locations, and partnered with agencies to make holidays special for Northwest Arkansas families. That's commendable. She's just 10 now. I'm just emphasizing that. Devoted to Christian Life Cathedral, Jessica volunteers weekly with the youth ministry, serves on the youth prayer team, Spark choir, and attends Bible study. She also contributes to the Principal Leadership Advisory Board at Holt Middle School and participates in the clubs like volleyball and theater. She's kind of all over the place, isn't she? She got the energy. Jessica, at just 10 years old, has received numerous honors, including 2 Presidential Gold Awards, Leverett Elementary Student of the Year, and a Perfect Attendance Award. Tonight, we celebrate Jessica Deanna Bowser, who truly embodies qualities of Rodney Mormon Youth Young Adult Award, exceptional character, leadership, and service. Thank you and congratulations to Jessica Deanna Bowser.
My name is Jessica Bowser. I'm in 5th grade. I like to do pageants and volleyball. It's important to me to be a servant leader because God put me on this earth so I could serve other people. My dream is to be a girl boss and own my own business someday because I already got it pictured out that I want my name to be Just Serves because my nickname's Jess and I just want to create any opportunity for me to serve other people. I would love my legacy to be for little girls to know that do not let anything to get in the way of achieving your dreams because if I could do it, you could do it. Be that girl means to be 1, be kind and serve your community, 2, be yourself, be the best you, and 3, leave a little sparkle everywhere you go to always shine, and that can simply change the world. I would say to Dr. King, thank you for wanting white and black to go to the same school together. Now I could go to school, learn and have an education, talk to everybody, and have lots of friends. I loved that Dr. King led lots of the civil rights movement and led the marches and had peace and no violence. Thank you for selecting me. I'm super excited that I got to do this.
Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't add this. I waited for the best for the last. I wanted to let you know that's my granddaughter, my only granddaughter. So let's celebrate Jessica as a remarkable 10-year-old embodying the spirit of Dr. King through her exceptional leadership and community service. Her accomplishment speaks volumes about the impact one makes at an early age. Now join us as we continue this celebration. But just before I say that, if you want to follow up and know what she's doing, Facebook, Instagram, just remember that. Now we will transition to the Ernestine White Gibson Individual Achievement Award presented by Scott Vardy, Logistics Chair.
We now turn our attention to the Ernestine White Gibson Individual Achievement Award, honoring those who have made significant community contributions. Tonight, we celebrate Alice Gachuzo-Colleen, a passionate advocate, trailblazer, and community leader. Originally from upstate New York, Alice's journey of empowerment began when her family moved to Springdale, Arkansas in 1993. From founding Springdale High School's Multicultural Club to mentoring underrepresented students at Blue Cliff College, Alice's commitment to equity and inclusion has been unwavering. In 2017, she played a pivotal role in establishing Springdale's first Martin Luther King Jr. Day Parade, creating a platform to honor Dr. King's legacy. Alice's advocacy extended nationally as she served as a delegate for Arkansas with the Poor People's Campaign. In 2022, she made history as the first African-American woman to run for Springdale City Council, embodying her commitment to diversity and positive change in local government. Tonight, as we honor Alice Gachuzo Colleen, let's also reflect on the late Ernestine White Gibson's legacy. Mrs. White Gibson, one of the MLK Planning Committee's founders, played a crucial role in renaming 6th Street to MLK Boulevard on a very cold day, and she left a lasting and enduring impact on Fayetteville. In the spirit of Mrs. White Gibson, Alice continues this legacy, implementing life-changing events for Springdale, guided by Maya Angelou's wisdom. Quote, "Do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better." Alice remains grounded, cherishing her role as a devoted mother. Let's celebrate Alice's enduring commitment to community betterment. Please join me in applause as we honor this exceptional recipient of the Ernestine White Gibson Individual Achievement Award. Thank you.
My name is Alice Gachuzo Colleen. Everything that I do, I try to do it with the community in mind, to be looked at in the light of Miss Ernestine, to be put in the same page as Miss Ernestine. That's such a humbling, I don't even really know how to put it in words. She was, instrumental in was making sure that the name of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., that boulevard, was changed. I am actually in the process of doing that in Springdale. To see the work that she's done and to be following in the work that she's done, it's amazing. Dr. King, he didn't lead from a distance. He led in the front. And that's why he's not with us today. My dream, I just want everybody to love everybody. I want folks to treat people like somebody. I want people to be their authentic self. I just want love to just be love. I give back to my community because I know what it feels like myself to be in a community where you feel like you're not wanted, where you feel like you're not loved, where you feel like you're not welcome, where you feel like you're not a part of. And I feel like when you pour into that community, everyone's going to feel loved. Everyone's going to feel a part of. Everyone's going to feel welcome. It is a cruel jest to say to a bootless man that he ought to lift himself up by his bootstraps. But when you pour into your community, you're essentially giving that man a pair of boots. You're giving him some hands. You're giving him some gloves. You're helping him to plant his feet on the ground. And you're going to help him stand up. That's why I give back. I thank you all for the work that you have done in Northwest Arkansas for 30 years. I thank you for continuing to push the legacy of Dr. King, for continuing to push the legacy of Black excellence, for continuing to push the bar of Black excellence, for continuing to shine a light on the things that we have done, for continuing to show people that we are so much more than just the average. I thank you guys for honoring me, for looking at little old Alice out of the many people that you guys could have chosen. You chose me. I will forever be grateful, forever be grateful. And I promise you I will continue to do the work. I will continue to do the work. I will continue to make you all proud and continue to push the legacy of Dr. King the best way that I know how, and that is with love.
Congratulations, Alice. Congratulations on this well-deserved honor. Your commitment to community service and your willingness to serve are truly commendable. As we celebrate your achievements tonight, we look forward to the next chapter. Now, please join me as Dr. Vanice Boone, a member of the Social Media Committee, presents the prestigious Dr. John L. Colbert Lifetime Achievement Award. Thank you.
Good evening. We now turn our attention to the distinguished Dr. John L. Colbert Lifetime Achievement Award, celebrating individuals who have significantly achieved notable merit. Tonight, one second, this is not right. Tonight, we proudly present the award to Cynthia E. Nance, Dean and Nathan G. Gordon Professor at the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville School of Law. Cynthia E. Nance, a distinguished legal scholar, joined the Arkansas Law Faculty in 1994, serving as the law school's dean from 2006 to 2011. She left an indelible mark on legal education. Her teaching and scholarship focus on labor and employment law, workplace legislation, poverty law, and lawyers as leaders. As the law school's first director of pro bono and community engagement, she exemplifies a commitment to service and leadership. Dean Nance is a fellow of the College of Labor and Employment Lawyers, president-elect of the Board of Governors for the ABA Labor and Employment Law section, and an elected member of the American Law Institute. Yes. Her contributions extend beyond academia. She actively contributes to the legal community at both national and local levels. Throughout her distinguished career, Dean Nance has received numerous awards, including the 2023 Carrying on the Legacy Award, the 2023 AALS Ruth Bader Ginsburg Lifetime Achievement Award, and the 2018 ABA Margaret Brent Women Lawyers of Achievement Award. The Arkansas Supreme Court appointed her to the Arkansas Judges and Lawyers Assistance Program Committee, on which she currently serves. She is a member of the Harold Flowers Law Society, an affiliate to the National Bar Association, and a founding member, past president, and past faculty advisor for the Phi Alpha Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Tonight, we celebrate Cynthia E. Nance for her exceptional achievements, unwavering commitment to justice, and enduring impact on the legal and academic spheres. Congratulations, Dean Nance, on this well-deserved honor. Following the video presentation, DeQuisha Brood-Wheeler will accept the award on behalf of Dean Nance, who had a prior international commitment.
My name is Cynthia Nance. I am the Dean and Nathan G. Gordon Professor of Law at the University of Arkansas. I think one of the things that really means a lot to me, and I hope I don't get too emotional, is that I know that I stand in the shadow of Central High. And I know coming in 2006 as the first woman and the first person of color to be at the law school. And when you think about the power of a lawyer and the power of law schools and how King used lawyers in the movement, I just think he'd be very proud. But he would say, you're not done yet. Keep working, keep striving, continue to make a difference. One of the things that people don't realize about Dr. King is that he really focused a lot on economic justice and justice in the workplace. I really do believe in the labor movement, that it helps advance equality. All labor has dignity. All labor has dignity. The person with their name on a shirt deserves just as much dignity as a person with their name on the door. I'm committed to access to education for people of color, to access to the profession. I'm committed to speaking for folks who are underrepresented and don't have a voice. I want to have other young people who feel empowered to speak out as well and make change. To some extent, we've whitewashed Dr. King. What I would say to young people is learn about his complete legacy, because speaking truth to power is not always easy. You see one part of his legacy, but he fought against an unjust war. He fought against inequity in the workplace and how people were treated. And he reached out to different religions. Thank you very much for this honor. I was really surprised to receive it, but I'm really also very honored, and I intend to continue to live my life in such a way that it does justice to this distinction.
In Dean Nance's absence, we express our gratitude for your dedication to higher education and service. This marks the conclusion of the Salute to Greatness Awards. Thank you. For more detailed bios of all Salute to Greatness Award recipients, kindly visit the Northwest Arkansas Dr. MLK Jr. Council website, click on awards and the awardees' names. Thank you.
Each year, the recipients of the Salute to Greatness Awards never fail to impress. Let's give them all another big round of applause. Next, we have Chris Seawood, the MLK Council's treasurer and fundraiser, will introduce our esteemed speaker and moderators for the upcoming fireside chat. Before the chat begins, enjoy a musical selection by the historical St. James Missionary Baptist Church. Following the fireside chat, we'll have a sponsor video and a musical performance by Cliff Nichols, the music and arts director from St. James.
Save that for Nikole now. Dr. Spencer, thank you. I have the pleasure of introducing our distinguished speaker for the evening, Nikole Hannah Jones. Renowned for her groundbreaking work, she is the Pulitzer Prize-winning creator of the 1619 Project and a staff writer at the New York Times Magazine. The book version of the 1619 Project, as well as the 1619 Project children's book, Born on the Water, were instant #1 New York Times bestseller. Her 1619 Project is now a 6-part docuseries on Hulu, and recently is now an Emmy Award winner. Hannah Jones has spent her career investigating racial inequality and injustice, and her reporting has earned her the MacArthur Fellowship, known as the Genius Grant, a Peabody Award, 2 George Polk Awards, and the National Magazine Award 3 times. She also serves as the Knight Chair of Race and Journalism at Howard University, where she founded the Center for Journalism and Democracy. Hannah Jones is also the co-founder of the Ida B. Wells Society for Investigative Reporting, which seeks to increase the number of investigative reporters and editors of color. And in 2022, she opened the 1619 Freedom School, a free after-school literacy program in her hometown of Waterloo, Iowa. Hannah Jones holds a Master of Arts in Mass Communication from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. We won't hold that against her. And earned her BA in History and African American Studies from the University of Notre Dame. That is Nikole Hannah Jones' bio. Now for our moderators, Ann Shelley and Dr. Alicia Smith are longtime residents of Northwest Arkansas and active community members. Shelley has deep roots in community organizing and advocacy. Her work has included statewide LGBTQ organizing for the Women's Project, whose mission was to fight racism, sexism, and homophobia, and as executive director of the NWA Center for Sexual Assault, serving adult survivors of sexual violence and their loved ones. She has served on numerous boards and advisory councils in the region. She is the proud parent of Eva Mae and wife to Bridget Gibson. Dr. Smith is an educator with a background in human resources, workforce education, and change management. She is a servant leader and is actively involved in community and church organizations such as Rogers Art Commission, St. James Missionary Baptist Church, Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and the Northwest Arkansas chapter of the Links Incorporated. She has had a lifelong commitment to inclusion and belonging initiatives and has mentored students of color for over 30 years. She is the proud mother of Xavier and Sterling and wife to Henry Smith, Jr. Both are experienced diversity, equity, and inclusion practitioners. And for the last 4.5 years, Smith and Shelley served our community and the campus through the Ideals Institute at the University of Arkansas. Ideals was a diversity, equity, and inclusion training, consultancy, and research institute dedicated to creating diverse, equitable, and inclusive workplaces and communities. Through the institute, they and their colleagues worked with campus and community leaders representing organizations of all size, sectors, and industries to effect organizational change. They are co-founders of Inclusive Edge Consulting, a new boutique agency that provides organizational effectiveness services for nonprofit organizations and businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, after you hear the selections from the St. James Missionary Baptist Choir, it is our pleasure to present to you our fireside chat with Nikole Hannah Jones and our moderators, Dr. Alicia Smith and Ann Shelley.
I'm gonna ride the chariot in the morning, Lord. I'm gonna ride the chariot in the morning, Lord. I'm getting ready for the judgment day, my Lord, my Lord. I'm gonna ride the chariot in the morning, Lord. I'm gonna ride the chariot in the morning, Lord. I'm getting ready for the judgment day, my Lord, my Lord.
Are you ready, my brother?
Are you ready, my sister? Oh, yeah. Are you ready for the journey? Oh, yeah. Are you want to see Jesus? Oh, yes. I'm ready for the journey because I'm ready to go. I'm going to ride the chariot in the morning, Lord. I'm going to ride the chariot in the morning, Lord. I'm getting ready for the judgment day, my Lord, my Lord. the chariot in the morning, Lord. Gonna ride the chariot in the morning, Lord. I'm getting ready for the judgment day, my Lord, my Lord.
There's a leak in this old building, and my soul
has got to move.
My soul
has got to move.
My soul
has got to move.
There's a leak in this old building, and my soul
Has got to move. In a building not made by
man's hand. This old building keeps on leaning, and my soul
has got to move.
soul
Has got to move.
my soul
Has got to move.
This old building keeps on leaning, and my soul
Has got to move. In a building not made by man's hand.
Well, I ain't gonna let nobody
Turn me around.
oh, turn me
Around.
turn me around. I ain't gonna let nobody.
Turn me around.
I'm gonna keep on
Walking, keep on talking.
marching on the free. Well, I ain't gonna let no hatred.
Turn me around.
Oh, turn me around. Oh, turn me around. I ain't gonna let no hatred.
Turn me around.
I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up the free. Why don't you help us say I ain't gonna let nobody
Turn me around.
oh, turn me around, turn me around. I ain't gonna let nobody
Turn me around.
I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up the freedom land. Yeah, I'm gonna let nobody
Turn me around.
oh, turn me
around.
turn me around. I ain't gonna let nobody
Turn me around.
I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching on the freedom
We have a lot of nationality here. We have Nepali, we have Congolese, we have Egyptians, we have Somalians, Indians, Ethiopians, Americans. We have a lot.
We have over 20 different countries here. We have a very, very big diversity.
It makes it stronger. Everybody work as a team.
I look at these team members like my family. I treat them like my brother or my sister. We all out here and making sure every single team member are being taken care of.
You work for the team members and they'll work for you. They can make you or break you. And I learned that real fast. So once you show them or earn that trust from them, they will take care of you.
Every day we learn from one each other. It's amazing how you can learn different cultures. You can hear histories that you never think that those things will happen.
My art is telling my story, the story of a lost boy of Sudan. It's very important to me to know culture of one another, to help people.
Ignore people, it's good to know your people and talk to them every day. That's what engaged them every day.
We all love each other, we embrace each other, and we support each other. Tyson do chicken, but I don't just do chicken. I care for people.
No matter where you're from or what color you are or what religion you are, to give the opportunity to everybody, it's made me very proud to work in this company.
Good evening, everyone. Hey. Good evening. And Nikole, and we do have permission to call her Nikole, so Nikole, thank you so much for being here.
Happy to be here. Glad to know y'all haven't banned black people yet.
Ooh. We so happy you're here. Say it. It's been a minute. So you were here in 2018.
Yes.
And we loved having you then. And a lot has changed since you left.
Yes.
So let's see, since then we've had a pandemic. Mm-hmm. We've had civil unrest all over the land. Mm-hmm. We've had all kinds of tragedy across the country and the world. So essentially the world is a dumpster fire right now. So in your own life, you've had your own set of challenges and of course all the highlights, but in light of all that, since we've seen you last, how are you doing?
How are y'all doing? Y'all awake? Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of a fraught question. Personally, I'm great. I'm doing the work that I'm called to do. The work is being well received, but I'm also, of course, every day reminded of the necessity of this work because we see so much, not just inequality, but now we're in a political climate where people are pretty explicitly challenging things that were once accepted, right? And saying things that were once not accepted. That we could be in a state, I opened with a joke, but in a state that would try to ban African American history, that would ban books, that would ban my work, that would ban DEI offices, things that we wouldn't think would be controversial. Of course, then on top of that, just what's happening in the world right now, what's happening in Gaza, what's happening in the Sudan. We've seen hard times before, but I feel that we are in for a very dark period in the United States. And as we were discussing backstage while I was talking, not get nobody in trouble. But as we were discussing backstage, the opposition is extremely organized. They are strategic. They are looking at the long game. They have enacted a long game plan. And I'm not quite sure what those of us who don't believe in that vision of America are doing strategically to push back, right? Like how in a state that's a home of Central High, right, the Little Rock Nine, how do you allow your history to be banned? How do you allow DEI offices to be closed down, right? So you can blame your leadership, but in the end, it's the people of the state that allow these things to be done in their name. So that's how I'm doing. Now, how are y'all doing? I'm surprised I got invited back twice. I often only get invited once.
Now, I may or may not be speaking for Dr. Smith, but I'm going to plead the fifth on that question. But I am going to kind of hone in on something you said that I think we all feel right now, and that these are dark times.
Yeah.
And in dark times, I know most of us, everyone in this audience, especially here, celebrating the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King, we stand on the shoulders of so many people that did this work before us.
Absolutely.
And I think I'm correct in saying you stand on the shoulders of Ida B. Wells.
I hope.
Yes.
I try to live up to that.
As an investigative journalist, I know you have founded the Ida B. Wells Society for Investigative Journalists. Many people may not even know that was really her passion among many things that she did. And I want to share a quote of hers with you that speaks to me, but I'm going to read it so I don't get it wrong.
Okay.
I want to do her words right. The way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon them.
Yes. Considering
all that's been going on, what truths have been illuminated for you recently?
I think what's been illuminated for me is something that I've known but didn't necessarily think I would see it come back to fruition, right? So I was thinking about this James Baldwin quote, and I'm not gonna quote him because I would massacre the quote, but he's basically saying, we say all the time, this is not our country. But he's like, actually, this is our country, right? This is our country. This is exactly who our country has been. And we have these periods, I think, where we suppress that darker side of our identity and who we are. And then that becomes overcome by what is our natural state, which is to be racially polarized, which is to be stingy, which is to be regressive, which is not to live up to the highest ideals, So when we think about what does truth look like in a post-truth America, right? Where we have rampant disinformation, misinformation, where we have someone who's been indicted 90 times who may very well ascend to the presidency, and if he doesn't get the popular vote, will say that the election was rigged. And what do we do in a society like that? Because our founders got many, many things wrong. But one thing they understood is that you had to have a free press, right, in order to have democracy, because you have to have an informed citizenry in order to have democracy. And you have to have an understanding that there are basic facts that we all can adhere to, whether we politically disagree or not. And we're not in that place anymore in the United States. So it's a truth where if you study history, in some ways, none of what we're seeing in our society is surprising, but it doesn't mean we can't be appalled by it, even if we're not surprised. So that, to me, is where I am.
Thank you. That's powerful. And certainly as we're talking about the influence that Ida B. Wells and other greats have had on you, I'm going to switch gears just a little bit and ask you about your experience at Howard and how you are experiencing Howard, having not gone to an HBCU, and the influence that you are having on the future investigative journalists of America.
Are there any HU folks in here? I can't believe y'all did, okay. Y'all know what y'all are supposed to do when you're, thank you, you know. Y'all playing with me. So good, we talked about the dark, so let's talk about the light, because Howard is certainly the light. We call it the Mecca for a reason. If you don't know how I ended up at Howard, after a 10-year battle with my alma mater, the University of North Carolina. A wealthy donor interfered in my tenure process because he didn't like the 1619 Project. He didn't like what he thought were my politics. It became a big national scandal. There were protests on campus, and ultimately the board did vote to approve my tenure, but I rejected it. And yes, you can clap for that. And I knew I was going to reject it 2 days into the scandal. And I knew that I was going to reject it and I was going to go to a HBCU. And I knew that in that moment, in the middle of the fight, I was going through the TSA at the airport, and there was a black woman, TSA agent, and she comes up to me as I'm coming through security, and she says, "Girl, they better give you your tenure."
Oh, yes.
And I was like, why? I'm gonna try not to cuss. I cuss a lot. I was like, why the F? I'm not gonna say it. would, a working class black woman give a damn about tenure, right? Tenure is like the most elite thing one can imagine in society. Why would she care about tenure? But what I realized is what she understood inherently as a black woman is that you can do everything that they tell you you're supposed to do. You can follow all the rules, you can exceed, you can excel, right? Every single thing they tell you to do. And you can beat them at it. You can be better than them at it. And at the end, they'll just change the rules on you and deny you anyway, right? So you don't have to be an academic at some elite institution to understand that. Every black person, probably every marginalized person, understands that. So I was, in that moment, I was determined to send a message because so often, black people and people of color, we derive so much identity from white institutions. Now, we deserve to be wherever we want to be. And I spent most of my career in white institutions. But there's a difference between saying, I want to work here, I want to do well here, but my worth is tied to my working in a white institution and my excelling in a white institution. And I felt that I really wanted to send the message that we have value within ourselves. We don't have to take crumbs from the table. We don't have to be treated like we're lucky to be there as if we're not bringing something essential to these organizations. So I decided to come home. And that is exactly what Howard has been. I only have 2 regrets in life. One, I'm not going to share with y'all. It's not too big.
Come on now.
Got it. But the other is that I didn't go to Howard myself as an undergraduate. I wish I had gone there. I'd long admired Howard. So many of my dearest friends went to Howard. I mean, there's no place like it. And particularly if you are a black person, there's no place like it. So it has been, that's a long answer. All my answers are long. Y'all might know, just like my writing. But it has been amazing. And I think a lot about, I loved the University of North Carolina up until my tenure battle was very good to me. It was a great place academically. It gave me what I needed to start my journalism career. A few months before they denied me tenure, they had just inducted me into the North Carolina Media Hall of Fame. They had given me the Young Alumni Award, then the Old Alumni Award. I had gotten everything. But then in the end, right, when, as we all again know, you're only as useful to them as you are useful to them. And then when you're not, they'll throw you away. And I just decided, to come at a place like Howard and to think about if I were teaching at the University of North Carolina, I might have 2 black kids in my course at a time. Yeah. And now I get to sit in a classroom where all of my students are black students who are there to thrive, who are not, not like me at Notre Dame where I had to spend so much time trying to prove my basic worth, trying to just prove that I deserve to be there. You don't have to tell a Howard student anything. They know, right? They know they deserve to be there. They know everything that, they know their own value and worth. So it's been, it's been one of the greatest honors of my life to be on the faculty there. When I came to Howard, the white donor who interfered in my tenure rate, he pledged $25 million to the journalism school, which got him naming rights on the journalism school. He pledged, didn't give, he gave like $2 million, pledged 25.
Oh, I didn't know that part of the story.
I came to Howard with $25 million. I raised $25 million.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, because I'm an Aries, so I can be very petty and very vengeful.
All right.
And when everything went down with UNC, I was like, not only am I going to go to Howard, but I'm going to raise the same amount of money that he pledged, and I'm going to bring it to a black institution, and I'm going to use it to help not just Howard, but we have a consortium of 6 journalism schools across HBCUs that we're also funding and providing resources for. That's awesome. I hope the young people in the audience can take from this, right? Like, I studied power. I studied power my entire life when I had none of it, but I studied it. So when I came into my moment of power, I would know how to execute.
Yes.
And that's what I did, but you don't execute the power just for yourselves. That's not our communal value, right? That's the value of maybe another community, but that's not our community. Our communal value is that when we get in that position of power, how do we use that power for the greater uplift of others like us who are struggling? And I hope that that's the lesson that can come out of that.
Thank you so much.
See, I don't even answer the question. I just talk about what I want to talk about.
We hoped that.
We already knew that.
We hoped.
We knew that.
So,
you knew that already. Okay,
that
good.
already.
Yeah. One of the things that we have to say out loud is 1619 Project.
Yes.
Can you say that here?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yes, we can.
Y'all tried to ban me too.
Now, I know that that was dragged to some degree into your UNC battle.
Absolutely.
But I want to flip and not talk about the challenges. I want to talk about the accolades that has brought to you and to the community as the greater community because of that project. I mean, come on, a Pulitzer Prize, an Emmy Award, and you got to work with Oprah? I mean, come on. There has been a whole lot of accolades, but let's go back to the very beginning, before you even knew the accolades would exist or you'd be sitting on a prestigious stage in Northwest Arkansas.
Yes.
Yes. What inspired you to even start the 1619 Project? And I've got to add on to that question too. And what would Hannah Nikole Jones sitting here today want to say to that Hannah Nikole Jones who started that project to begin with?
So it's interesting, like the framing of the question, because the seed for the 1619 Project did begin when I was a high school student. I was 16 years old. I grew up in Waterloo, Iowa, so a very white state. But there were still enough black people to segregate us. So I grew up in a black community, and starting in the second grade, I was bused into white schools for a voluntary desegregation order. And so my high school offered a one-semester Black Studies elective course. So our history is optional still. So we could take Black Studies as an elective, and I took that class, and it changed my life. I mean, I actually completely understand why our opposition wants to ban Black Studies. I get it. It will radicalize you, right? It will make you not accept the rendering of history and your role in society as a black person that we've all been given in this society. So I take this class. And it's like this whole world of knowledge that I didn't even know existed suddenly became open to me. And I became obsessed with wanting to learn this history. And so I would ask the teacher, Mr. Ray Dial, he was the only black man I ever had as a teacher, to give me books to read on my own. And one of the books he gave me was a book called Before the Mayflower by a historian named Lerone Bennett. And it was 30 pages in. I still have the book. It's long-term borrow.
Long term.
31 years. He said I can keep it now, though. But about 30 pages in, I come across this paragraph about a ship called the White Lion that came to Virginia in 1619. And I just remember being shocked because I didn't know black people had been in the Americas for that long. And then I understood the title of the book. The title of the book was saying, we all know about the Mayflower in 1620, but there was another ship that came a year before that's been completely erased from the memory, right, our collective memory of our country. And there's a reason for that. So 1619 became very powerful to me. It stood both as a lineage for black people to say, we've been here longer than almost everybody who gets the credit for building this country.
Yeah, say that again.
Right? We've been here longer than almost everyone, even before the Pilgrims, who gets the credit for building it. But it also stood in for the power of erasure. Because I understood then as a 16-year-old, 1619 happened. The White Lion came. Those 20 to 30 Africans came. But we didn't learn about it. And if you don't learn about it, it's like it never happened. And that's when I started to understand that what we call history is really memory. Because history is, this happened on this day, and this is who did it. But if you don't teach us those things, it's like it is invisible. So 1619 is shaping our society, but we don't know that it's shaping our society because we don't even know that it exists. And so that really made me want to understand, well, what else haven't they taught us? What else do I need to learn about? So I swear I'm not going to take you every year from when I was 16 to when I created the 1619 Project.
16 to 19.
Right. So So I've spent my entire career as a journalist. This is why history has always been my first love. History calmed me because I would see a world, how Black people were being portrayed, the explanations for why we lived like we lived, and they just didn't match what I was seeing every day in my family and my neighborhood, right? Like, no, we don't like living in raggedy houses, actually. We like nice houses, right? We actually like quality schools. We actually don't like crime. Like, what are you talking about? But then when you studied history, you're like, oh, our neighborhood's like this because the government redlined it. Oh, that makes sense. Right? Our schools are like this because the government's never integrated our schools or given us the same resources as white schools. Oh, now that makes sense, right? So history started to make the world make sense for me. And so as a journalist, I knew I couldn't write about what racial inequality today without building that history in for people. That if you just wrote about everything that Black people are suffering from, people will fill in the blanks with the same pathological reasoning that they always do. But if you can teach them the history, then they'll say, oh, there's nothing wrong with Black people. There's something wrong with the society that created these conditions for Black people, but there's nothing wrong with Black people. So I've been working towards, my articles kept getting longer and longer because I kept trying to go further and further back in the past. And I used to always joke with my editors, eventually we have to go back to 1619. Like, if we want to cover any of this shit, we have to go all the way back to the beginning. And so in 2018, it was the end of 2018, and 2019 was the 400th anniversary of that moment, right? That white lion in 1619. And I was obsessing again that one of the most pivotal dates in American history was approaching, and like so much of our history, it was likely going to pass with little acknowledgement. But I'm not, little Nikole in Waterloo, Iowa anymore. I'm Nikole with the biggest megaphone in the world. I work at the New York Times. And so I decided I wanted to pitch a project, not just write one essay, but pitch a whole project to force us not just to think about what happened a long time ago, but how is that shaping the society that we live in right now? So that really was the pitch. It wasn't about, there were lots of news organizations that did commemorations of 1619. But my project was saying, do you want to understand capitalism in America today? You have to go back to the plantation. You want to understand how we get an insurrection on January 6th? That's not the history of 1776, that's the history of 1619, right? If you want to understand why, anybody been to Atlanta? Okay. If you want to understand why when you're in Atlanta, you can see your exit, and it's going to take you an hour to get to it, that's to a legacy of slavery. We just don't know. Because the highway system in Atlanta was not designed to move you quickly through the city. It was designed to separate descendants of slavery, Black people, from white people. And so it doesn't actually make sense, except in America, it makes sense. Because we do things for racist reasons, not for logical reasons, right? So even our traffic patterns are being driven by race, but we don't understand that. So that really is, to me, was the power of the project, was saying, we want to explain the society to itself, and that slavery was as foundational of an institution as one can have. It predates our founding by 120 years, right? Most of our founders were enslavers. Their occupations were to enslave people. The man who wrote our Declaration, his job was he enslaved people. He didn't plan shit, he forced other people to plant. We call him a planter, he wasn't planting, right? The people he forced in bondage were planting. First president, enslaver. Father of the Constitution, enslaver. Bill of Rights, written by an enslaver. And yet, the way we learn history is if that's all somehow irrelevant to the country they built. How? Right? If your primary occupation, your income, the country you have to create is protecting the thing that made you powerful in the first place, then that is foundational to the country that we've been built. So we only want to talk about the freedom side, but not that slavery was undergirding white people's freedom. You have to tell both. And so that really is the heart of what we're trying to do, and that's why I've been a journalist for 20 years. I've written about school segregation, housing segregation, racist policing. I've never faced a backlash like I faced when I tried to make us remember our country in a more honest way. That is where all of white power, from the president to the Secretary of State to sitting senators, including your own. Look, Tom Cotton has legislation against the 1619 Project in Congress right now. They drafted legislation, you should read it. It's called the Saving American History Act. It said the 1619 Project may destroy the very fiber of the country. Now, I'm a bad bee, but I'm not that bad. Like, if a single work of journalism can destroy the very fiber of the country, then the country wasn't that strong in the first damn place. So, I'm never getting invited back again, so you better soak it up while y'all do it. That's why I said, who sponsored this again?
No, we gotta have you
but
back.
But think about that. I could be writing about what people are doing right now to black folks. Nobody cared.
Right.
But as soon as I start saying, actually, the country you thought you had is not the country you had. And if you want to understand why power works like it works. So I'm going to talk briefly. See, I just take over. I'm sorry.
Go for it.
I'm going to talk briefly to all the white people in the audience. Because the truth is, y'all are suffering too under this shit. So when you compare the white life expectancy in the United States, it's declining for the first time in the history of our country. When you compare the white standard of living in the United States compared to white people in Europe, y'all die earlier, you're sicker, you have less education, you have more poverty. We have the highest rate of child poverty in the industrialized world. We're the only one of the Western industrialized countries where whether you can go to the doctor when you're sick or not depends on if you have a job that feels like giving you health insurance. None of the countries we compare ourselves do those things. Right? You have a baby in this country, you have to go back to work immediately. That's not just black folks.
That's right.
That's working class white folks too. It's working class white folks who are struggling when governors in the South are saying, we're not going to take Medicaid. We're not going to expand Medicaid for poor people. It's more poor white people than black people. Okay? When they say, we're not going to feed school children over the summer, right? So all these Southern governors, Mississippi, my dad's home state, the poorest state in the country, just said we are rejecting federal funds to feed poor children in the summer. Who does that? So that's not just hurting poor black kids. It's hurting a whole bunch of poor white people, a whole bunch of working class white people. And so the lesson is, there's this thing called the Bacon Rebellion. How many of y'all ever heard of the Bacon Rebellion? Okay, so during the time of slavery, at least in about the 1600s, white people weren't living that much better than enslaved Africans. Indentured servants were coming over here, they were being forced into contracts, and they were also being brutalized. The difference was they entered into a contract and they weren't being enslaved for life. But their conditions were appalling. So black folks who were enslaved and poor white people were like, we need to rise up against these elite white planters who are holding us all down, and they did. And so elite white planters were like, they outnumber us. So what do we do to break up that collective power? They created race.
Yep, they did.
And they told the poorest white man, you might not have a pot to piss in, but you have your skin.
Right.
And with that, you will have certain rights that cannot be taken away from you, even if your living conditions aren't that much better than the black person next door. White folks have to let that go. No, and I mean this, it's not letting go your ancestry to Europe. No one is saying be ashamed of your ancestry to Europe, but what it's saying is whiteness is made up, and whiteness is killing you too.
Yes.
It's killing us more, but it's killing you too. So the ultimate power to me of the project is to say, the legacy of slavery harms black people, of course, but it harms us all. We are an exceptional nation in ways we should be ashamed of.
Yes.
Why would you turn down food for a poor child? Except you're willing to sacrifice a whole bunch of poor white people because you think you're going to hurt black people more. And so a whole bunch of poor white people will vote against their economic interests in favor of their racial interests, but racial interest doesn't pay your bills. So this is what I hope the message is that you take away, that yes, this is a story that centers Black people, but it's a story of America. And this history is shaping all of our lives, whether we acknowledge it or not. And that's the power, right? That's the fear. Because why does power want its roots to be exposed? Why do all these elite white people who benefit from these systems that hold most of us down want us to understand how those systems work? Because if you understand that all of this was created, that we don't have to live like this, that people made laws and policies and took actions, then what you also know is we can create something different. That what's been created can be destroyed.
And that's what they're afraid of.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Y'all got me worked up here.
I just have to say real quick.
I know I need a church fan.
So many of us in here over this last year have sat in rooms where the air has been sucked out of it, and you just breathe life into this entire room.
Thank you.
And for that, I hope we can all take a collective breath. Thank you for that.
Thank you. And there is really not enough time for us to unpack. You know, we really just getting started, but I can feel the eyes on me backstage. I can feel them. We're going to be respectful.
I don't see any yet.
We're going to be respectful. But here's the thing. You talked about a lot of things. One of the things I want to talk about is the erasure of Black women, especially Black women scholars.
Absolutely.
In academia. There's been a lot going on. And of course, former President Claudine Gay, having stepped down, being one of the most recent examples of that. Is there anything you would like to illuminate for us about that may connect to your experience at UNC?
Oh my God, that's a whole nother lecture.
I know.
We don't even have enough time.
We got a couch back there.
Right, what I'll say, again, this is why I chose Howard, because when this happened to me, I have a huge platform, right? All of the protests, all of the public letters, all of that was because of who I am. But I understood at UNC, less than 2% of tenured faculty are Black women. That had nothing to do with what they did to me. That was pre-existing. I don't know what it is here. It's probably 1%, right? I know, I'm not gonna get nobody fired but me.
I have no comment.
But the point was that what happened to me, I was just a public face of what was happening to Black women and other women of color in academia and really across professional life all of the time. But they don't have the megaphone, and so you're not able to draw the attention to the issue. But I would have been just the second Black woman ever tenured in the history of the journalism school at the University of North Carolina. 70 years, that school had only tenured one Black woman.
Wow.
That had nothing to do with that rich white donor. You can't blame, that's like blaming everything on America, in America on Trump.
Right.
America created Trump, right? All that precedes Trump, and when he's gone, it's all gonna still be there, but we like to have a boogeyman that we all can agree, well, that's a little too much. But the daily degradation that Black women face, most Black women don't even come to a 10-year vote to be able to have their tenure denied. So when I saw what happened with Dr. Gay, what we understood was, in a way, it was always going to be a setup. So we got to stop being proud of being the first Black, whatever it is. We got to stop being proud of that. Because trust and believe, you weren't the first Black woman qualified. So you're only the first because you're the first one they let do it. So when we take all that pride in it, you're setting yourself up for the fall. You just are. So 380 years of Harvard presidents, and you're trying to tell me that they didn't have an explicit white male quota system for the first 375? They did. And no one doubted whether all those men were qualified. So once you realize you're not gonna win at their game, you stop playing it. Because here's what I know. I get called an affirmative action hire every day of my life. I don't give a damn. I'm better than you. I mean, you're sitting in your basement calling me that. I'm living my best life. So say what you need to say. But this is how the game is rigged. If you don't make it, right, if you don't rise to the highest echelon of whatever your career is, it's because Black people just don't want to work hard. You didn't want to study. You're not willing to have the ambition and do what it takes. You're not smart enough. But if you do make it there, they still win, because then they'll say, you didn't deserve it. Somebody gave it to you. You're just an affirmative action DEI hire. So we have to stop letting them define our worth and value. Now, I'm not saying that's what Dr. Gay did. Dr. Gay didn't deserve any of that. What happened to Dr. Gay is the same thing that happened to me. She became politicized, and so political people decided that they were going to ruin this woman's reputation for political gain. I feel deeply for her. I was able to withstand the storm. She wasn't. You think about a woman for 30 years, builds up your academic career. That's, again, everything that you're supposed to do, and you finally rise and become, now, white people don't have to stand in for their race when they rise to the presidency. Right. She had to stand in for her entire race. And then in 6 months, they've taken her down, and she has the shortest tenure ever of a Harvard president. And I know that she's feeling, somehow she let the race down. She did not. We have to stop trying to carry the race for these folks. We just do. So I don't even remember what the question was. I have a lot of...
It was open.
I have so much, you know, I do. People ask me like all the time, what's your motivation? I am mad. I am motivated by rage because y'all, we're sitting here on this stage on Martin Luther King Day, and we know what's going to happen on Monday when everybody trots out that one damn line from the I Have a Dream speech. Don't even read the rest of the speech. Because if you read the rest of the speech, you see the speech was radical, and King didn't die in 1963. He had 5 more years. They never want to quote the rest of the King speech. All the other speeches, right, where he talked about racism, militarism, capitalism, died fighting for economic justice, right? Y'all killed him, so you must didn't love him that much, like all those things. But we don't want to talk about the real King even in a moment like this. And we don't want to talk about, like, I feel like people come for self-flagellation. They come see me because they want to feel bad for an hour and they've done their penance, and then you can go on and live your life and not do shit to change the reality. So, like, what are you going to do about what's happening in your state and your country? What are you going to do? What are you going to do when you leave here? A day of service is nice, but if you're not in service to community all the time, you could keep your day. Like, we don't need it. So I think it's okay to tap into that rage. Like, we're taught to suppress rage, and especially as Black women, you're not allowed to show rage. Fuck that. No, like, yes. We have reason. If you're not enraged right now, I don't care who you are, with what's happening, women lost a 50-year constitutional right. There are women dying right now because some legislature gets to determine whether a doctor can save your life or not if you're pregnant. And we're sitting here taking it. Yeah. The affirmative action ruling, y'all think that was about how many Black kids get into Harvard? It's not. They are suing any program of racial justice that's trying to help Black people not be on the bottom of society. They're suing Black people who are trying to help other Black people. And we sit, and we tweet, or we do whatever we do, and we are allowing all of this to happen in our society, and then we gather on a day like this, and we want to get into kumbayas. I don't want to hold hands right now. I want to fight. And I will hope some of y'all will leave wanting to fight too. Because we either accept this society, okay, this is the last thing. I know somebody's gonna come out with the hook. Y'all, Governor Abbott in Texas is talking about he would be shooting immigrants coming across the border if he could. That's dangerous. That's not okay. And so what we are allowing is the rhetoric has gotten so crazy and so violent that we are becoming numb to it. So now we're like, yeah, that was kind of crazy, but he probably doesn't mean it. They mean this. We thought they didn't mean it about abortion, and then they did it. We thought they didn't mean it on affirmative action. Now they're trying to sue every institution that's trying to help Black people. They mean it, and we're playing tiddlywinks. Like, what are we going to do? So yes, be angry, and I hope we're gonna leave here, and we're gonna decide how are you gonna fight, and you start in your own state. Does your governor represent y'all? No. So what are you doing about it? What are you doing about it? So, yeah, that's it. Now I'm about to get fired for real. Look what y'all did to me.
Oh, it's us.
I've been holding it in, y'all.
Never spoken like this before.
Is Fox News in here? Somebody recording. It's
So
okay.
I am so grateful. Oh, that was interesting. I'm so grateful for you to share your rage. And this question probably may not even land. What would, given all the shutting down, the closing, the challenges to social justice, affirmative action, programs we see in legislatures and institutions, especially in the South, what would the historian in you or the journalist in you say that would help us be more illuminated about the truth?
I think the South will and has always provided the answer. I think when we think about, we're here to commemorate Dr. King. This was the epitome of a long game. So we think about the civil rights movement as being like a decade-long struggle. It was not. The civil rights movement begins right after, during World War I. So decades of organizing, decades of having to fight the exact type of Supreme Court we have now, right? We know you can't bring new case law to this court, but you have to be architecting the precedent that will allow you at some point to overturn the harm that they're doing. So that was the strategy, was the same long game strategy conservatives have played to get us in this moment. You have to reverse architect that, and we can follow the movement and see that that's what they did. So I'm, if you've ever heard me talk, I'm not a hopeful person. I don't believe in it personally. I believe y'all should have it, but I don't. But when you study the movement, you realize you always had to have people who believed that no matter how dark things were, you could change your society. So you think about a John Lewis, you think about a Dr. King, you think about a Fannie Lou Hamer, a Diane Nash. There would be no reason for them to believe they could end apartheid in America. There would be no reason. You think about Frederick Douglass in 1835. Could he have pictured the end of slavery in 30 years? No. But did they bring that to pass? They did. So I think we can leave with hope to know if we do get organized, we can change our country. We can fight back and we can win, but we have to begin to implement that strategy. And I say this to the young folks. Because young folks often ask me, we're not having a Q&A, so y'all not gonna ask me, so I'm gonna ask you for me. What should we do? And I always say, if we were gonna fix this shit, it'd be fixed already, so don't ask us. The answer is with y'all. And it really is. How old was John Lewis when he leaves college to join the movement? Diane Nash leaves college to join the movement. High school students initiate the sit-ins, right? There's a woman named Joanne Bland. You should look her up. Selma. 7 years old, she gets arrested for the first time marching. Still alive. It's not past. Like, you can go hang with Miss Bland today if you want to in Selma, right? So it's young people who have not been co-opted by the system, who have not been beaten down like the rest of us who start to believe you can't really change it anymore. And we don't want to lose our jobs because we got to pay our mortgages, right? It is the radical vision of freedom and belief in humanity and belief that we really owe each other something that exists in young people who are going to get us out of this. And our job as older people, I mean, not me, because I'm not old, but other people, is to just provide the support and the guidance, not to tell you how to do it, not to say we did it this way or we would have done it that way, but to provide what Mr. Dow did for me when he radicalized us, so it was his fault, he had to help us, was when we wanted to lead the walkout for Black Studies. He would tell us, this is how far you can go before they're going to expel you. So these are going to be the consequences if you take this action. These will be the consequences if you take that action, but take the action. That's our job as older, as people, as elders in our community, is to support our young people so that they can build the world that we haven't been able to build for them. And that's where the hope lies. The movement was led by young people, it was supported by older people, but it was led by young people, and it was led by people who did not believe that the society we have is the society we have to have. And that is all of our collective duty, is to build the society we want and not accept the society we don't deserve.
I think that sums it up. I think that sums it up. Nikole,
that's it.
I'm sorry I got you all, we got you all hyped.
I'm hot, for real.
I know, right? But we have enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you. I
We are
enjoyed it
so
too.
grateful for your candor and for just being you, doing you.
Thank you.
We are going to continue to watch all the great things that are happening and looking for your next projects and all the great things. Can you all join me in appreciating Ms. Nikole Hannah Jones?
Appreciate y'all.
Not going to be before you long. We just have one more selection.
Let's give them another big round of applause. Our program will now proceed with a theatrical performance from Natasha Devon. Devon is an actor and poet and native of Chicago, Illinois, and was raised in Mississippi. She holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in Theater and Speech Communications from Jackson State University and a Master of Fine Arts in Acting from the University of Arkansas. Through her poetry, she has worked with prominent individuals fighting for social injustices and human rights, and with her art, Devon desires to inspire and mentor younger artists and instill in them that with hard work and creativity, anything is possible. Following Devon's performance, the MLK Council will award 35 students with $1,000 scholarships for the 2024-25 school year. The presenters for the scholarships will be Sarah Drain and Dietrich Jenkins from the MLK Council.
Embracing the natural hues of change, shifting the baton over valleys through hills of generations to come. Together, taking on the entanglement of love, meeting a wave of forgiveness. We hold these truths in our hearts without evidence, remind ourselves of His good deed and essence, uplifting our power, placing it in the hands of our neighbors, convincing the naysayers to do the same. We found equality in well-meaning men pushing the rock up and over the mountain of freedom with free speech. We tell the differences in our stories, uniting communities of people who love people, who vow never to misplace the mission of forward movement and progression. With pride, we gather our brothers and bones, stood faithfully to those who fought the battle before us with bravery and resolve. Acknowledge that we have come this far by faith, leaning on God and sweat, fears, and each other. We live in a presence that precedes our past, fostering the foundation for a future of us all, and in this beloved space, we will hear no evil, see no evil, do no evil, but we will continue to seek the dream. Thank you.
Thank you for staying. If you're still here, we appreciate you. Let's find ourselves. Good evening. Oh, we're the next people on the script after all of that. Yeah. Please again, give Natasha Devon all of your applause. What an incredible, amazing artist. You can support her with your business and your contributions. Dietrich and I are presenting 35 scholarship recipients tonight. We present scholarships to 17 high school seniors and 19 undergraduates. The high school recipients represent 12 high schools here in Northwest Arkansas, and each student will receive a $1,000 scholarship for the 2024-2025 academic school year. Our recipients this year are Brett Thomas Potts from Bentonville West, Patience Stewart from Don Tyson Virtual School of Innovation, Ornette, here comes Patience. Yay, great, come on out, y'all. Ornette Gaines from Fayetteville High School, Ayanna Hinton from Fayetteville High School, also from Fayetteville High, Elise Whitfield, from Gravett High School, Ashlyn Fox, from Haas Hall Academy, Hamali Gari, from Harbor High School, Jose Sanchez and Caroline Boyd, from Prairie Grove High School, Lexi Jones, from Rogers Heritage High School, Melanie Velasquez, from Rogers High School, Deanna Fleming, Sabrina Ford Wutzke, and Raymond House. From Rogers New Tech High School, Seth Manor. From Salem Springs High School, Olivia Moody. And from Springdale High School, Yanette Barbosa.
Okay. Undergraduates from 11 colleges and universities are among the recipients. The Gamma Eta Alumni Association of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity is delighted to donate $4,000 to the undergraduate recipient fund. This contribution, facilitated through the Northwest Arkansas Martin Luther King Council, enables the awarding of 4 scholarships with a total of 19 recipients. First recipient, Nadar Cates, Florida A&M University. Alicia Mays from Langston University. Trey Sauls, Oklahoma State University. Joshua Mays, Prairie View A&M. Madison Henry, Southern University. We got Joshua Devon, Tennessee State. Caleb Henry, Tennessee State. Aaliyah Nickerson, Tennessee State. Weston Verdeman, Texas A&M University. Raylan Barker, University of Arkansas. Braylon Cook, University of Arkansas. Ashton Laurent, University of Arkansas. I can't get this.
Molly Ilui Camina.
University of Arkansas. Thank you. Karen Satterfield, University of Arkansas.
Aaron.
Oh, Aaron. I'm sorry.
Aaron.
I'm sorry. Colin Timms, University of Arkansas. Faith Childers, University of Arkansas at Little Rock. Morgan Gaines, University of Central Arkansas. Catherine Toney, University of Kansas. Rukaya Arubeya, University of Missouri at Kansas City. Thank you, scholarship recipients, and your contribution. Thank you. Lindsay, Sarah, I'm sorry, we're exiting the stage.
Here we go.
Let's give all of our students another round of applause. So I want to join Sarah and Dietrich in congratulating all of our scholarship recipients. Audience, you just witnessed history. 35 reasons to give, okay? And so we're going to remind you how to give. So you can go ahead and take out your phones Oh my gosh, look at that. So next we will have a special presentation by Quentin Green with the MLK Council Finance Committee and Lindsay Leverett Higgins, our president. Immediately following the presentation, Dr. Danielle Williams, MLK Council Sponsorship Chair, Secretary, and past president, will give a special recognition to our sponsors. And we will close this evening with remarks from President Leverett Higgins. I want to thank the MLK Council for giving me the opportunity to serve as MC for this phenomenal event, the opportunity to see the excellence that Northwest Arkansas has to offer with our Salute to Greatness awardees, our student scholarship recipients, and all of you here today has been great. Thank you so much for coming, and we'll continue with the program.
Ms. Hannah Jones, immersed in the spirit of celebration and gratitude, the Northwest Arkansas Dr. MLK Council extends a profound appreciation for your invaluable presence at this momentous occasion. Your voice, a resonating force amplifying the narratives of those too often unheard, has added immeasurable depth to our commemoration. We stand here not just honoring your unwavering commitment to truth-telling, but also recognizing the seismic impact of the 1619 Project. Like a torchbearer, you have illuminated the corridors of history, bringing to light the narratives that's challenged and reshaped our understanding of America's complex history. In honoring you with the well-deserved award, we express our deepest gratitude for your relentless commitment to social change, justice, and the tireless pursuit of a more equitable society. Your work, particularly the 1619 Project, stands as a testament to the enduring principles Dr. King stood for. We are honored to recognize and celebrate the profound contributions you have made intertwining the legacy of Dr. King with the transformative power of your storytelling. Your resilience, visionary leadership, and unwavering dedication to forego a more just world have made you a beacon of hope for all of us. In this moment, we extend our deepest thanks for inspiring us, not just this evening, but with every word and action that embodies the spirit, positive change. Ms. Hannah Jones, your presence elevates this celebration, and your contributions resonate far beyond this moment. Thank you for inspiring us all. Sponsors will be treated to an insightful presentation by Dr. Danielle Williams. Thank you.
We appreciate you all hanging in there with us, but
we would be remiss if we did not acknowledge our sponsors. So we extend a heartfelt gratitude for their unwavering support for tonight's event. Your generous contributions have played a pivotal role in making this event a resounding success. And as we truly, gratefully appreciate all of your commitment, we hope that you will take the opportunity to look at the sponsors as they scroll on the screen, but also we want to ensure if you do have an opportunity to support us individually, you can do so with our QR code and also going to Cash App on our website. You can find more information. So again, as it scrolls across the screen, we want to ensure that we acknowledge all of our sponsors that contributed to the success of this program. So again, we appreciate you. We found that your support is very invaluable and your commitment to our cause is a beacon to our inspiration. So again, we appreciate you. And the next voice you will hear is our president, Lindsay Leverett Higgins of our Northwest Arkansas MRK Council. Lindsay.
Good evening. The greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members. Coretta Scott King's insightful words guided us as we celebrated our 28th annual Recommitment Celebration. Let our collective actions and compassion weave a tapestry of unity echoing the vision of a beloved and inclusive world cherished by both Dr. King and Mrs. King. In the rich palette of diversity, we've woven threads of understanding and acceptance and love. Our sponsors, whose unwavering support has painted this celebration with hues of generosity and much-deserved heartfelt thanks from our organization. Their commitment to fostering harmony aligns seamlessly with Dr. King's dream of a world bound together by compassion. To the dedicated members of the Northwest Arkansas Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Council, you are the architects of this vision. Your tireless efforts have not only made this event possible, but have contributed to the enduring legacy of Dr. King's beloved community. Through your work, we continue to build bridges and build bridges that connect us all. In the spirit of unity, let us carry forth the lessons learned during this celebration into our daily lives. As we navigate the challenges ahead, may we remember that our strength lies in our collective harmony. Together, we can transform Dr. King's dream into a living reality. Thank you again for joining us this evening, and may the spirit of Dr. King's dream guide us on our shared journey towards a brighter and more harmonious future. Thank you.